Here we are in Inkscape. This is the program we'll be working with to do the Design Pro V8 program. And the first thing we want to do is I'm hitting the minus sign so I can make this screen smaller, and we want to get rid of the border on the box. So we're going to go up to File and go down to Document Properties, and we're just going to uncheck the two boxes under Border and close out of that, and we no longer have a box. Then we need to insert an object, and we go to this here, and we're going to look for the women's. We could go to the pants, shorts, tops, or we can also go up to the other Digital Pro Basic and go to my upgrades, and this is where we have things like the dress factory. So let's go ahead and pick out a dress, and when we click on them you'll see the pictures over here, so you can see the various styles, and we would just select one. Let me go ahead and select this one, and it brings it in. Okay, now I'm going to go over some of the basic tools that you'll need to use and show you how to get to some of those things. The arrow in the corner is for selecting an object, and anytime you're going to work with an object, you want to select the part that you're dealing with. For instance, we'll draw this over top of the whole garment. That way I could enlarge the garment, I could kind of modify it, stretching it, etc. If I click on it, then I get these curved arrows, and what that allows me to do is rotate one way or another, which might be helpful on occasion for some things that we'll be doing. If you don't like what you've done, just come up to Edit and hit Undo. Okay, I could undo scale, get back to what I had originally. I don't want to undo my import because then my dress would go away, so that's about as far back as I want to go. Okay, now we need to find some fabric for our dress. So what we're going to do is, I'll go ahead and select it, and we need to go back to import. Okay, and what we want to do is we want to find the fabric. So we're going to go back to the Digital Pro Basic, and I'm going to look through here, and I see my digital fabric for Basic V8. So I'm going to click on that and open it, and I have a selection of some basic fabrics here. We have cottons, terry velour, denim and khaki, knits, nylons. So let's say that I wanted to go for a knit fabric. I'll click on that, and what that does is that opens and shows the different kinds of knits. Here we have some cable knits, okay, and more. Okay, so these are the knits we have, and let's say that I want to make this a red knit dress. So I will click on that, and it says linker embedded image. Okay, I want to embed it, so I'm going to click on OK, and that's going to put a pretty large scale piece of fabric here. Okay, I don't need it to be quite that big, so I'm just going to shrink it down a little bit and just move it off to the side. Okay, and if I wanted a second fabric, I would go to the import again, and let's say that maybe I want some gray. Maybe we're going to do a scarlet and gray dress. Alright, or maybe I won't use the gray, but we'll see. I want to go ahead and bring it in. So I'm going to say OK and embed that. And again, I get a nice big piece of fabric here. And I'm going to shrink it down a bit, scoot it over a little bit. Okay, and that's all I have to do for that. Now, I do have to convert these fabric swatches so that they're in a usable format. And the way I'm going to go about that is I'm going to come up to Object, and I'm going to go down to pattern. Okay, objects to pattern is the key here. So I'm going to click on objects to pattern, and you notice it didn't do anything. That's because I forgot one thing. Anytime you're working with anything, you've got to select it first. So we're going to come over here to our select, and first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select this one. Now when I go back to, oops, wrong one. When I go back to my import, nope, did that wrong again. When I go to my object, okay, I come down to pattern, objects to pattern, okay, and now I'm going to select this one. All right, and once again, I'm going to go object, pattern, objects to pattern. Okay, now it didn't look like anything happened, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this edit objects. Okay, and when I click on that, let's get this over a little bit so that we can see what it's doing. Okay, this is a really important box. It has fill, stroke paint, stroke styles, and this little argyle square here. Okay, I'm going to click on it. You'll see it says pattern 3067. All right, if I go down, I have another 3062 right below it. So what has happened is when I did my pattern to object, it has assigned these two fabric pieces numbers. All right, typically the first one you do is the first number you see, and they go in order like that, but you can always click on them to see what you've got. Okay, so let's say that I want to turn my dress into the red. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select it. Okay, I'm going to come over here to get my pattern. All right, it just kind of tossed one up. That was the 3057. Okay, kind of cute in gray, but I want it red. So I'm going to come over and I'm going to click on that, and now I've got my red dress. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the top part only. Can I do that? Okay, it doesn't like me to do that. So we're going to have to try it another way. Okay, let's say that I wanted this top part to be in my gray. Okay, we'll go for a high estate outfit. What I need to do is I need to come down to my pencil tool. And it looks like a pencil, but it says draw these curves and straight lines. And I'm going to click on that. And I'm going to punch my plus sign because I want to make this a little bit bigger so I really have control and I can see exactly what I'm doing. I'm going to scoot it over, and what I'm going to do with my pencil tool is I'm going to draw, and I'm going to draw a border. You see that line that I've got going here? Okay, I'm going to click to the corners. Now if I try to draw across here, my line's going to go straight, but this is curved. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to make some very slow, gradual clicks, staying on the line. And I'm going to come all the way across. Okay, if I get to a point where I can really make a straight line, I can kind of go for a little bit farther before I have to stop again. But if there's any kind of a curve, you got to kind of go in small increments. I'm following the line. I'm going to come back up to here. And once again, I'm going to go back across, which means I've got to go slowly. Each time I'm stopping, I'm clicking, left clicking with the mouse so that it stops the progress and kind of sets a point. And you'll see we can do a lot of things with these points here in a minute. So I'm headed back towards the box from where I started. And I overlap. You see that little box actually turned red when I hit it. And I'm going to click. All right, now it has selected this area that I had originally wanted to make gray. All right, now I've got to get rid of my pencil tool, so I'm going to come up back to select, and look, it did select it. So now let's go back to the fabric. Going to click on that, and there's my gray. All right, And we'll make this smaller by hitting my minus sign, and we'll just see what that looks like now. Okay, maybe I like it, maybe I don't, but that's the fun of designing. You can always go back and switch. I can easily go back and take it to the red if I wanted. I might be able to add a border at the bottom. I can do that the same way by taking my pencil tool again, and let's make this a little bit bigger. It's always nice to be able to see exactly what you're doing. And I'm going to start in the corner. I'm going to click. This is a straight line, so I can do one click that way. Okay, that didn't look like I made a very straight line, but I'll show you how to fix that in a minute. And then I'm going to come up the side slightly. I'm going to come back across over here. That's why it's a little bit easier when you make it big, and back down to my original starting point. Okay, now watch, if I make this really big by putting my plus signs, okay, I can see where I was really off. So we're going to come over here and we're going to edit paths by nodes. So you see what it did? It put these little boxes here, and I can come out and I can stretch those out to my corners and really make it fit exactly where I want it to be. Take this one, grab onto it, pull and drag. Okay, this one's a little bit off. Come down here, pull that out slightly. Okay, and the bigger you make it, the more easily you can see if you're really in the right spot or not. Okay, I think that this line could go up a little bit. And there we go. All right, so now I'm going to go and let's see. I could probably perfect that even more. Let me go ahead and again select this area. I'm going to go to my nodes, move this over a little bit. I think that might be just sticking out a little bit past where I want it to be. So you can really tighten it up. Okay, now I'm going to come back to my fabric, and there we have it. And now let's make it small and see what our dress looks like. Okay, so that's what the dress looks like at this point. Now, there's some other cool things you could do. Let's say that I wanted to put maybe some black trim on this. All right, I would want stroke paint. So I'm going to come back up here again to my fill and stroke, and this time I'm going to click stroke paint. All right, and this is where you see I've got this big long color bar at the bottom. Different tints and shades of about everything you can think of. Okay, and what we're going to do is, I think I want black. So I'm going to click on black. Okay, and if I do shift and click, okay, that might be giving me the black that I want. Okay, so we're going to come back over here, and I'm on stroke paint, and let's just draw a line and see if we get the black. Okay, again, let's make it a little bit bigger. And I'm going to come across here. Okay, and oops, see how my line's moving around? I need to kind of double click on that to keep that there. All right, now you can see this showed up. And my stroke down here in the bottom left-hand corner is showing black now. And I want to change my stroke style. Let's say that I want to, I could have a dashed line, dotted line. Well, let's say that I am going to go with a solid line. Okay, and I unclick on that, and I've got a bit of a line. Okay, I don't think I like it. So I'm going to come up here, I'm going to edit, I'm going to undo stroke style, undo draw path, because I don't think my path was drawn very well. All right. Another thing I could do is I could draw calligraphy. And I could make some swirls. Okay, see what that looks like? That looks pretty stupid. So we'll go ahead and undo my draw calligraphy. Okay, but you can play around and see what kinds of things you like. And let's say that my dress was done. And I'm going to go ahead and I can close out my toolbar there. And I can click and just right click and delete my fabric swatches. Okay, there should be another red one over here somewhere. There it is. And I'm going to go ahead and right click and delete and get rid of that. And here's my dress. And let's go a little bit smaller there. All right, now the dress looks fine on its own, but it might look really good if it was on a person. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up to my insert object again, or import an object, and we need to get out of the fabrics, and we're going to go back into our Digital Fashion Pro Basics, and we're going to go into Women and then Models, and we want a model. And let's see, again, I have my models that pop up. Okay, I can have just a sketched, very white with black sketching. I can have models of various skin color tones. Okay, and so let's say that I think this girl's going to look good in my dress. And so I say open. Well, there she is. And she's pretty big and she doesn't look like she's going to fit my dress. So what we need to do is we're going to move her over away from the dress. Okay, and then what I need to do for my dress is I'm going to select it. Okay, and you can see it's selecting different parts of it. So if I hit Control and move some things, actually I can just move things around because this is like an overlay of what I've done. And down here too, okay? But I want to move all of this at once. So let me get that back where it belongs. Okay, and so I'm going to select my entire dress. Okay, and then I'm going to hit Control and I'm going to move it. And what that does is that actually moves the whole dress together as one, so I don't get just the parts. Now, you notice my dress is behind my model. Okay, it's not going to work so well. So what we need to do is we need to go back to Object, and we need to say, we could try Raise to Top, and look what that did. That raised my dress to the top. The other thing I could have done is I could have put my model to the back. And again, holding down Control so that my whole dress moves, I'm going to scoot it, okay, up here, and try to get it so that I'm dressing my model. Okay, and let's see if I can get her shoulders covered a little bit better. That looks pretty good right there. Okay, so now here's my model, and again I'm hitting the minus sign on my number pad, and we can even give her hair. So if we go back to import, and we are on our models, but we're going to go back and we're going to find hairstyles and wigs. So let's see, we want the front of her head, so let's look at wig 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's try this wig, and let's bring that down and put that on her. Okay, if we don't like that hair, we can undo that, undo our import, and we can try it again. Let's try this little short do. Okay, I like that one better. Okay. So we've got a face, we've got our model. We could even find some shoes for her if we really wanted to. And we again would go back to Digital Pro, women's, and under models we've got shoes, and we can find some open toe. Let's see what kind of, there's a backside, those would be the front, the heel backside. Okay, some heels. Let's go with just the little toe parts here. So let's say we'll open that. We need to bring these shoes down, cover her feet. All right, and make sure her toes aren't sticking out there. And then we can go back, and maybe we want to, we could fill them with fabric, but that might look a little weird since we have this cable knit. So let's say that maybe we just want some gray shoes. So come down here, and first let's select. Okay, and we want fill, and we want to fill with the dark gray. Maybe we can lighten it up a little bit. And there we have our gray. If we didn't like that, we'll go back and select again. And we could try red shoes. I don't know, what do you think? I think I like the gray. Okay, and there we have it. Now, if we wanted to print this, what we would need to do, we'd need to put her back in that border. Remember the border we took away from the beginning? So we're going to come back up to File, Document Properties, and we're going to put her back in the border. It says Show Page Border. Okay, and we'll close that out. We've got this page border, but she's kind of big, right? So we need to make her fit the border. So again, we're going to select her, and I'm going to hold down Control so that everything shrinks in the size when we do it. And I'm going to, she's pretty little now. I think that didn't quite work out. I'm going to try to make her a little bit bigger again. Let's take our border. Let's make these bigger again. Okay. Let's actually take our model and select her. And we're going to take the side, and we're just going to make her a little bit smaller. And we're going to grab her and bring her down into here. Still looks a little bit too big for her page. So we'll just keep adjusting. Okay, now she's in there. We can make the whole thing a little bit bigger again. I'm going to use my roller ball to get her back in the center. And there we have it. Our model with our dress. And that's it. So have fun and do your best.